And Peyton Tablet couldn't even get to the first part. Peyton couldn't even stop one takedown. I don't think he stuffed any takedown. He eventually got back up, but he didn't stop any takedowns in that Barcelos fight from what I can remember.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Carlos Prates has dynamite in that left hand. So you see right here in this photo, Ian Gary's throwing a lot of rear high kicks to hit Carlos in that arm. You know, kind of, the more you keep hitting something, man, eventually it's going to wear down a ton. And also it's keeping that arm occupied, so he's got to keep it up and he's not able to throw it. What's good, fight fans? Back with another video. Today, we got UFC fighters and their kryptonite. So, shout out Lucas Tracy. I got this idea from him. I was watching one of his older videos. I think it was UFC fighters and their Achilles heel.
His biggest weakness, I think we can admit it by now, he's got brittle bones. O'Malley's a little bit fragile. Broken rib going into the Aljo fight. Broken hand going into the Pedro Munoz fight. Broken rib going into the Moutinho fight. Broken this going into that fight. Probably going to have a broken leg going into the Cheeto fight.
So basically, Achilles heel, kryptonite. I'm just going to give y'all an exact definition. So kryptonite is an alien mineral that has the property of depriving Superman of his powers. So basically, a UFC's kryptonite would be something that takes away their ability to win, is basically what I'm trying to say. We got a lot of fighters to talk about, so let's get straight into the video. All right, let's start off with my boy Charles Oliveira, one of my favorite fighters, by the way. And these fighters I'm going to be talking about, like, I fuck with these fighters. I'm just telling y'all the game plan. So y'all come watch the Wavy MMA and I'll get you some dubs. UFC fighters, I'm talking to y'all. Charles Oliveira, first of all, if you're from the Caucasus Mountains, you know, you got the beard with no mustache, the short haircut, and English is your second language, and you're from Russia, Armenia, we're going to find out if it's the Georgians like Ilia Topuria. This is one of Charles Oliveira's biggest weaknesses, the brothers. You know what I'm saying? If you talk like this and you're a humble brother and...
This guy is so small. I'm gonna stop this guy. He's a great champion, but this guy is so small. He's not my level.
The people, you know, y'all know I'm talking about the Khabibs, the Islams, the Arman Sarukians. These guys are built different, man. They just gotta, they don't believe in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They come from Sambo. They come from wrestling in Dagestan. And they got this kind of cocky mindset where, yeah, this guy Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but wrestling smash jiu-jitsu. Like, they just got a different mindset. And they grow up wrestling. Years and years of wrestling. So they have elite grappling. You have all three of that combination, the brother swag, that cocky, tough mentality, and the elite grappling from a kid, you can beat Charles Oliveira. We've seen it with Islam. Well, Islam did rock Charles on the feet, so Charles was a little rock, but usually people don't jump on Charles, as you've seen with Dustin, Michael, and Justin. But Islam said, fuck that. I'm jumping on him. Pass his guard. Boom, put him in that arm triangle. And then Arman Sarukian. This is how you know Arman Sarukian is a dog, boy. I wish the UFC would stop playing with him and give him his... Let him fight, bro. But, yo, he survived the Charles guillotine in the first round when they're dry, bro. In that UFC 300, he survived Charles Oliveira's guillotine. Do you know how many people Charles have subbed with that submission? Granted, Arman did cheat a little bit by pulling on homeboy's shorts. But he survived it. But this is where that mindset is different. He still tries to take Oliveira down, even almost getting choked out and going to sleep. And that's another thing. These brothers aren't going to tap, bro. You're gonna have to put them to sleep.
And you talk about warrior or something like this. How you can tap? Go sleep. Go sleep.
They just got different mindsets. This is another reason why I'm terrified for Charles coming up against Ilia. I would like to see Ilia grapple. I don't want him to knock out Charles. Oh my God, bro. If Ilia knocks out Volk, Max, and then Charles back to back, bro, Ilia is going to be the biggest UFC villain of all time. Trust me. Let's get on to the next fighter, Carlos Prates. Boy, Ian Gary laid out that game plan on how to beat Carlos Prates. His kryptonite. First of all, you're going to have high IQ and output. Output meaning throwing a lot of punches and kicks. But you got to be smart with it. That's what I'm saying, high IQ. You can't just go out there slugging, you know, fighting like Cody Brundage, throwing... slugging it, you're gonna get knocked out, bro. So Ian Gary took a very tactical, high IQ approach. You gotta move a lot too. You cannot let him walk you down. And a good thing he was doing, Carlos Prates has dynamite in that left hand. So you see right here in this photo, Ian Gary's throwing a lot of rear high kicks to hit Carlos in that arm. You know, kind of. The more you keep hitting something, man, eventually it's going to wear down a ton. And also, it's keeping that arm occupied, so he's got to keep it up, and he's not able to throw it. So Ian put on a masterclass against Carlos until he got caught in that fifth round. You got to be able to take a punch. I don't care what y'all say. Ian Gary has a granite chin. I've seen him get smoked on the feet in the second round by Michael Venom Page. Oh! Just eating Michael Venom Page's punches. I've seen him take a gnarly overhand from Shockpot in their fight. And then he took Carlos Prata's best punch. So, yeah, you got to have a granite chin if you're going to beat Carlos Pratas. You can't come in here chinning like Bobby Green. We're going to talk about later in the video. And also, Ian did a good job threatening the takedown. So, it's not even that you're going to shoot and give it all your effort to get the takedown. Just threaten it. Just to keep Carlos thinking about it, keeping his hands down. So, he's not just walking all comfortably forward and he's able to put that power on you. So, yeah, shout out Ian Gary. Ian Gary had the perfect game plan against Carlos Pratas. Also, with you being high output, Carlos Pratas is a very low output fighter. So, you'll be able to outpoint him and get the decision if you're able to survive. Next, we got Joe Pyfer. Now, this boy, Kevin Gastelum, I wish I put this video out before Kevin Gastelum fight him, but I don't think Kevin Gastelum watched the Jack Hermanson fight. If you're going to beat Joe Pyfer, his kryptonite are crafty vets. What Jack Hermanson did to him. You know, you got to survive the early onslaught. You got to be very careful because Pyfer's looking to knock you out in the first round. So, Jack took some hard shots. He took everything he had in those first 2 rounds.
Defense right, lands that.
But he is able to withstand the storm. And you got to be able to jab and move. So once you get past those first, round and a half, you're going to start landing that jab. Boom. Start landing that jab, moving around the octagon. Pyfer just wants you to stand still so he can grab your arm, gauge the distance so he can throw that mean right hand, right? So you just jabbing him and moving. 1, 2, 3. Just slick combinations, bro. You can stay on that bike. You gotta have great cardio and be on that bike. I forgot to put that down. You're gonna need cardio to beat Joe Pyfer because you do not want to stand in front of him. And also, I don't think I saw Joe Pyfer check 1 leg kick, bro, in that Jack Hermanson fight. You gotta chop that leg down.
Near that level of beating
that jab, like his corner told him.
It looked like Joe does not like leg kicks, and it'll make it harder for him to kind of stalk you down if you chop that leg. You gotta have Joe Rogan orgasm over all them calf kicks you're hitting with Joe Pyfer with, man.
I don't think you're gonna. Oh, that calf. I don't know if Aspinall can stand on that calf anymore.
Kevin Gastelum, I don't know what he was doing. Kevin Gastelum was more worried about doing this shit than actually trying to fight. So I would say those 3 biggest things are Joe Pyfer's kryptonite. Moving on to my boy Joaquin. I would say his biggest kryptonite is if you're a wrestler like Kamaru Usman and you can put him on his back, he doesn't know how to get up. Kamaru, I know Kamaru Usman's elite, but every time Buckley would try to get up, Kamaru would just grab those legs, pull up, and sitting right back down on his butt, and it was rinse and repeat. So I would say Joaquin's biggest kryptonite, getting off of his back. He has a horrific time. We saw that for 4 straight rounds against Kamaru Usman. He can't get up. Next thing, if you're going to fight Joaquin, you got to have head movement. You cannot stand still because Joaquin's coming with 4 punch combinations, man. He's going to let his hands go. I respect that about Joaquin. He's not a boring fighter at all because he's going to let his hands go. He's not going to be fucking pop shotting like Joe Pyfer and throwing 1 punch every 3 minutes. He's got a lot of output. He's high output. So you got to be able to move your head. And some of the things Kamaru was doing though that was good was you got to have a little bit of footwork. I know Kamaru is not known for his footwork, but you got to be able to move and get out of the way of those big ass combinations he's throwing. And sometimes Buckley will come out with a big, you know how Roy Jones Jr. used to throw them fucking leaping left hooks? Joaquin Buckley tries to do that, but if you can have footwork and move away from that, you'd be straight against Joaquin. So I would say those are probably the 3 major things that would be his kryptonite. Moving on, Sean Strickland. I mean, you can't be like fucking Paulo Costa, bro. You cannot fucking run away from Sean Strickland. You have to stand up.
Stand your base. Stand your base. The space is your space, yeah?
Fucking plant your fucking feet. You gotta plant your fucking feet to the floor and don't take 1 step back. Like my boy DDP. You gotta stand in the pocket. You know, Sean Strickland wants to man dance. So give him what he wants. Don't fucking back up. Don't be like Paulo Costa and run from him the whole goddamn fight. I don't know what Paulo Costa was doing. Jesus, that was like one of the most boring fights. Strickland's very low output. Another thing, you could put him in you just got to be high output against him because Sean's very low output. I mean, his jabs, teeps, well, you know. And if you're somebody like DDP who can impose your will and you're not going to be fucking scared to bite down on that mouthpiece and really go for it, I think you can put a world beating on Sean Strickland. Now, granted, that first fight was close. All I'm saying is do what DDP did. Sean was coming off with a broken arm, I think. I'm saying don't back up, though. Don't back up, impose your will. Get in his face. Give Sean what he wants. Sean always talks that shit. He's saying he wants to man dance. You got to impose your will and give him what he wants. And also, if you're going to do this, though, you got to have very, very good cardio. Because I'm not going to lie, Sean is tough as fuck. Unless you got Alex Pereira type power, it's going to be a 5-round war. Don't back up. You keep marching forward. Sean will eventually get on the back foot. Don't waste your time trying to take Sean down because he's going to get right back up. His takedown, his getting up, boom. Joaquin needs to train with Sean Strickland. That's it right there. Put Joaquin with Sean Strickland because I think Dricus has took Sean down maybe 5 or 6 times in their 2 fights. Sean gets right back up immediately. He goes straight to a post. He's not wasting no time. We need to teach Joaquin that. So Joaquin, reach out to Sean Strickland, get that popping. I know Sean did fight Kamaru way back in the day. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. I don't remember. I know Kamaru beat the fuck out of him, but I want to see if Sean was held down and if Sean's always had good wrestling like that. Remember, impose your will, man. You got to be a marauder. You got to come in with that BSD mindset and just start slamming body kicks against this dude. I think Joaquin would be a good fight with Sean Strickland. I'm not going to lie, because Joaquin's got good cardio, and Sean's not going to shoot any takedowns. That might be a good little fight if Joaquin still fought at 185. And also, I want to see Kevin Holland and Sean Strickland fight. I know Kevin Holland said he's not ever going back to 185, but damn, imagine that press conference. Yeah, so shout out DDP, my African brother. Next, his biggest kryptonite. If you can get your ass off the fence and you don't let Shavkat hold you up against the fence, oh my God, you're in the clear, bro. That's the first thing. Another thing is, he's not really the best wrestler, but you got to grapple him. He's going to try to hold you up. And when I play UFC, I'm comparing real fights to UFC 5. But when you're going to play against someone in UFC 5 that's a spammer and just keeps spamming you, you got to spam them back or you got to wrestle against them. If they're going to keep clinching you, if they're going to keep spamming takedowns, you got to wrestle back. You got to bully the bully, bro. Don't fucking let him hold you up against the fence. Get off the fence. Once you get off the fence, because he's eventually going to get you there, shoot a double leg straight away. His wrestling really isn't like that. And we saw that in the Ian Gary fight. He could not take Ian Gary down. This is one of the most boring fights we've ever seen. The most exciting part is when Ian Gary in the 5th round almost choked his ass out. And I'm not going to lie, you're going to have to be a warrior though. You can't have a soft bone in your body because like I said, you're going to be grappling the whole fucking time. And Shavkat's got a granite ass chin, boy. That Jeff Neal fight when his mouthpiece came out and he was still eating punches.
Where's your mouthpiece?
We can talk all the shit about how Shavkat's a boring ass fighter. One thing we can't say is he's soft and he ain't got no chin. You're going to be in for a fucking fist fight. I don't know the welterweight fighter that would give him his hardest fight. He is still undefeated though, so we got to give him that. So technically, his kryptonite hasn't been fully revealed yet, but we'll see in the future. Next, TJ Dillashaw. His biggest kryptonite is TJ Dillashaw, his self. He's one of those dudes that just, just works. He overtrains. Like, there's a difference between working smart and working hard. I feel like TJ kind of overtrained his body. And you got to have some of that dog to where you're going to train as hard as you can. But I feel like in the end, it really came out and hurt him in the end. And really destroyed his body. Like look at this picture. I can't even look at that shit. Him cutting down to 125. Like, TJ wants to be great so bad. He's willing to just do things his body is not able to do. You know what I'm saying? This is just for people in the future. If you overwork your body, you're eventually going to get hurt. Have y'all watched TJ on the Jackson podcast? He cannot lift his arm up because you know what I'm saying? He, being the hard worker he is, took a fight with one hand against Aljamain Sterling. And that permanently has damaged his shoulder where he cannot even raise his arm. And they were breaking it down in the latest episode how they're going to have to do something to his shoulder. They're going to completely just take out his rotor. Like, the way they were describing it was nasty, man. So please, I'm dead ass serious when I say this, y'all. Like, don't overtrain your body. Like, when I grew up pooping and stuff, when I was in high school, I was working out 6 days a week. And then before the season, 6 days a week. And then on Sundays, we'd go play our little, fall league games or whatever. Bro, you have to let your body rest and recover. You're going to get better performance. Please do not overwork yourselves. And this is another very important thing. Don't try to be the tough guy. If you are injured and you can't go, don't try to be the tough man, tough it out. I've had 2 surgeries on my shoulder and my ankle trying to be Mr. Tough Guy and fight through injuries. Don't do it. It's not smart. You have to work smarter, not hard. Another kryptonite of TJ is if you trash talk him a lot and you're quick-witted like Dominic Cruz, you can really get underneath TJ's ego and skin. TJ said in those first 2 rounds, he was so mad at Dominic Cruz that he went out and literally just tried to knock him out and was just throwing as hard as he could. He was doing the Joe Piper shit, throwing as hard as he could, but it was in more combinations and kicks and shit like that, not just straight ones down, not just straight twos down the middle. You got to talk that shit to TJ and get him out of his and get him riled up to make him want to try to like fight you like bad. That's kind of what Mayweather used to do, is really get underneath people's skin. And Mayweather's defense is so good with that Philly shell and that shoulder roll. That people just punch themselves out. That's exactly what he did to Conor. Conor punched himself out and was gassed. Well, Conor's never really had that gas tank, but Conor was gassed in that 8th round. Floyd was just playing with him, just walking straight into him. Did not respect Conor's power at all. That's one of the craziest fights. I don't care what y'all say. I'm an MMA fan, and Floyd literally played with the best so-called boxer in the UFC. One good fight that we could see is, I would love to see fucking Ilia Topuria versus Gervonta Davis. Bro. That would be a fucking banger, because somebody's getting their ass knocked out. I heard TJ said that they really think Ilia could actually be a boxer. That's not worked out good for any MMA fighters, but I'm going to agree with it. If Ilia stopped training MMA and solely focused on boxing, I really think he could do it. But now he'd have to work his way up before we get to a Gervonta Davis type fight. Next, Peyton Tablet. Shout out Ronnie Barcelos, man. Back-to-back good wins. He really put the game plan out on Peyton Tablet. Peyton Tablet's one of these cocky fighters, you know what I'm saying? That's just going to walk forward with no respect. You just got to take him down. His biggest kryptonite is takedown defense. Buckley has good takedown defense, but he can't get up once he gets taken down. You know what I'm saying? Peyton Tablet couldn't even get to the first part. Peyton couldn't even stop one takedown. I don't think he stuffed any takedown. He eventually got back up, but he didn't stop any takedowns in that Barcelos fight from what I can remember.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
You got to train those specifics, okay? You got to work on your grappling. I forget who I heard say this, like, I think it was maybe Islam. He's like, brother, you already have striking. You could touch on striking, brother, but work on grappling. It's MMA. Be a complete fighter. Like, you got to be a complete fighter, bro. I feel like these dudes that always practice their striking and they can already strike like they're top tier strikers. Like, it's good to like sharpen your craft, keep it sharp, keep that iron sharp. But bro, you need to mainly focus on your weaknesses. Okay, my boy, Bobby Green. Jesus. His biggest kryptonite is his fucking chin. So him getting hit, period, in his chin, it's just not good, bro. Like we saw in UFC 300 in that first round, Bobby was jiggling a little bit over fucking Jim Miller, and he don't have the most pop.
I don't know why I would think he would change it.
So him just getting hit, period. Oh my God. If you can touch Bobby Green's chin, you might have a chance. Not gonna even lie. Shout out Bobby Green, though, one of my favorite fighters, because this is another thing. He's gonna talk that shit to your face during a fist fight. So if you're kind of wide-eyed, you're kind of an amateur, you don't really know how to handle that, and you're not mentally tough, oh my God, he's gonna put a masterclass on you. Now I know Jim Miller's a crafty vet, and this didn't really affect him, but you're gonna get a masterclass put on you like what Bobby did to Jim Miller. Oh my gosh, that was a brutal beatdown, bro. I thought Jim Miller should have retired after that, because he took an ungodly amount of damage. Bobby Green was throwing fucking these push kicks, throwing nasty 1-2, switching stances, talking shit. At the end of the fight, he fucking picked him up and slammed him and finished the fight with ground and pound. Like, you got to give Jim Miller his props. He is tough, though. But yeah, if you can tap this right here on Bobby Green, he's going out. The UFC is dirty for what they did to that boy and set him up against one of the hottest upcoming prospects in Marcio Ruffi. Bro, they literally just threw Bobby Green in the ocean, and there's just 10 sharks surrounding him. And that's basically what happened. He just got ate alive. And the last guy, we got Mr. 4570 Kevin Holland. Now, his biggest kryptonite is at 185 weight class. I know he's got some knockouts, like he knocked out Joaquin Buckley in that weight class. But there's just so many times he's fucking getting ragdolled. He's getting ragdolled by Derek Brunson. And he's over here talking to Khabib during the corner time when he's supposed to be in his corner, sitting down. He leaned over the cage talking to Khabib saying, brother, how do I stop the takedowns? And Khabib was recording.
This guy asked about advice from wrestling defense. I told him, focus on your opponent. Focus, Darek there, Darek. Let's go, brother. Control your hips. And next time I will teach you. You have to learn.
That's one of the greatest MMA moments ever, bro. I don't care what nobody say. But that is smart, though. He's another one. We got to send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget if he's going to go to the 185 weight class because those dudes are too big. You know, RDR choked him out in the first round. He's just not strong enough and he's too skinny for that weight class. So 185, big kryptonite. Stay away from that weight class, Kevin Holland. I'm liking that you're saying that you're going to stay at 170. Stay there, brother. Another thing, and if you're an elite, like high level, like A tier and up elite striker, that's Kevin Holland's weakness. Because Kevin Holland's got such a fucking ego. He's going to say, I'm going to strike with Wonder Boy, not going to go for no takedowns. Against the best kickboxer, Wonder Boy has over, I think it's a crazy number, like 70-something kickboxing fights, and you're going to stand with him only? We saw what happened with him and JDM. JDM kind of pieced him up a little bit. Now, granted, Kevin was rolling with a lot of his shots, and it felt like a lot of them were hitting his shoulder, but it's another one. Another 170-pounder that kind of put it on him. So JDM, Wonder Boy, and then the last one, Michael Venom Page. Now, Michael Venom Page pieces up everybody, okay? But he was absolutely styling on Kevin Holland in his debut. Now, remember, this is the Bellator stepping up to the UFC. So we're thinking we're going to see shit like Mario Batista and Patchy Mix, where the Bellator fighter just gets pieced up. We're thinking we're going to see Yair and Patricio Pitbull. Nah, MVP, 30-27, easy, masterclass, spinning elbows, these jumping right hands. He's like jumping into Kevin, wobbling him, and then throwing him down, and then like dancing on him. Y'all got to go back and rewatch that fight. Elite Strikers is a big weakness for Kevin Holland because his ego is going to tell him to sit there and strike. It's a big kryptonite. And the last thing, if you could talk a little shit, bro, like Kevin's so used to him just talking all the shit and nobody saying nothing to him. But if you do the Rampage Jackson and troll him back, oh my God, he's going to turn into the biggest sensitive. He's going to turn into Mr. Sensitive. I mean, he was willing to fight Rampage Jackson over I can't even remember the joke. It was some kind of lesbian joke. So I feel like if you can talk a little shit to Kevin Holland, that might be his kryptonite. I don't think anyone's ever tried it. You guys should try it. Rampage said, bro, you don't want this. Sometimes people don't know what they want.
Yeah, that's the last thing he want to do is fight me, though. That's the last thing.
I still want to.
No,
I don't give a fuck about the fight on Saturday.
No, you don't want to fight. No.
I'm just being real.
I'm being real with you, young buck. You
I'm
don't
just
want to
letting
fight
you know.
me. I'm just letting you know.
It sounds good.
Sometimes people don't know what they want.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight me.
But yeah, man, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. If you made it all the way to the end, like. If you haven't yet, subscribe. And also, if I missed any kryptonites that are in some of these UFC fighters, comment them down below. I'll catch y'all on the next one. We out.
I'm him, I can tell you from the jump, I'm a different breed. Bought a new tech, free shot, no referee. I ain't gon' force, nah shit, I'ma let it be. White gold shining, diamonds red like the 7 Seas.